Hello, dear viewers, and welcome to a new edition of your program Business Insider. I'm your host for tonight, Mohammed Abdirrahim. Tonight we'll be talking about Egypt's potential for investments as Egypt offers, of course, a strategic gateway between the three continents, abundant natural resources, young and skilled workforce, a big, huge market, incentives handed by the government, and much, much more. And we'll be talking about that from within the Chinese point of view, or the Chinese perspective, building and looking in the aftermath of the Egyptian-Chinese Business Forum that was held on the 9th of November last week here in Egypt. With us in the studio is engineer Amany Shenawy, development and economic expert and a member of a leading NGO here in Egypt. Engineer Amany is a chemical engineer. Thank you very much. It's always a great pleasure to have you with us, Engineer Amany.
Thank you.
Allow us, please, and allow us, dear viewers, first, as we always do in the program, to watch a report prepared by our team here, and then when we come back, we'll start our discussion. Dear viewers, the report with Rasha Abdelhamid and Abir Hussein.
Minister of Investment and Foreign Trade Hassan Al-Khatib inaugurated the Egyptian-Chinese Business Forum held in Cairo. In his remarks, the minister affirmed that the forum reflects the depth of relations between Egypt and China and demonstrates the shared determination to elevate the economic partnership to broader horizons in both investment and trade. He emphasized that this takes place within a development vision that links economic integration with sustainable development. The minister added that Egypt's trade exchanges with China reached approximately $16 billion in 2024, and with more than 2,800 Chinese companies operating in Egypt, with investments exceeding $8 billion across various sectors. He noted that Egypt views its economic relations with China as a comprehensive partnership based on mutual interests and sustainable balance. He stressed that the next phase requires achieving a clearer balance in the trade relationship by attracting more Chinese investment and expanding joint production for export in a way that enhances local manufacturing, increases value-added output, and links production to regional and international markets. The minister highlighted the success of several major joint projects, notably the TIDA Industrial Zone in the Suez Canal Economic Zone, which has become a model for Egyptian-Chinese economic cooperation. He also referred to the achievements of companies such as Media, which has strengthened local manufacturing and expanded exports to regional markets. Minister Al-Khatib emphasized that Chinese companies were among the earliest contributors to Egypt's strategic development projects, including the new administrative capital, the new Amany city, and the high-speed electric rail project, reflecting China's role as a strategic development partner. He added that Egypt's Vision 2030 for sustainable development aligns closely with the Belt and Road Initiative, particularly in strengthening regional integration and expanding industrial and trade connectivity among partner countries.
Thank you, dear viewers, for staying with us, and thanks again, Rasha and Abir, for this report. And we're back here with Engineer Amany Shenawy, the chemical engineer and the economic and development expert. Now, Engineer Amany, before we talk about the Egyptian-Chinese Business Forum, naturally, Egypt has a lot of potential for investments. If you take the key parameters or the key elements that make Egypt a strong destination for investments, where would you start?
Well, Egypt has a big potential for investments due to several points, starting with our location in the middle of the world, with having two seas around us, with having the Nile, with having a lot of resources. If we take the point of people, and we have population and a very good workforce, young workforce, because our country is a youthful one. We're having resources, we're having security, we're having intensives made by the government in order to take the investor to be relaxed in having investments in Egypt and having more profits.
Indeed, and a huge market as well.
This is true.
Dr. Amany, I mean, Egypt's market is huge. But focusing on the geographic location, because this is, you know, Egypt's, I guess, main strength or point of strength. So Egypt is the gateway to Africa and from Africa. It links Africa and Europe. It links Africa and Asia. Part of Egypt is in Asia. As you mentioned, the two seas, the Mediterranean and the Red Sea, Suez Canal, of course, and its economic zone and the development. Can you tell us about what you see of the development of the Suez Canal economic zone, and how are we, or should we, benefit more from that zone, Suez Canal?
We're having the economic zone in the Suez Canal, and we're having one of our partners is China. We're having a big development in this part of our country, connecting the world and having industrial areas. We're having a hub for logistics and the products that are going and coming from Africa and Asia and going to Europe. Especially the Chinese investments and even the Chinese investments to the African continent. They all pass through Egypt. So Egypt is really the gateway to all the economic development all over the Mediterranean, the Red Sea, and the three continents.
And of course, I mean, the sectors. There are so many different sectors where investments flow to in Egypt. Egypt possesses a diversified economy. May I talk about the tourism sector? I mean, it's high time to talk about, especially after the official inauguration of the Grand Egyptian Museum, Gem, that huge event that Egypt had recently. And since you mentioned, of course, the security in Egypt, one of its, again, points of strength, I want to mention tourism, I want to mention Gem now, and the great weather that we have all year round that supports, I guess, this tourism sector. So if we talk about tourism as a main point of attraction for investments, what would you say?
We're having in Egypt many areas that the tourist can come and have his holiday, or even for monuments and for seeing the great Egyptian museum, the Grand Egyptian Museum, Gem, that people come to it from everywhere. Or come to Luxor, having the 1/3 of
the world's monuments.
The world's monuments. Yeah. Yes. So this is very important. We're having also seas that attract tourists to come
Leisure
and enjoy.
Tourism, yeah.
Yes, and enjoy the good weather and having all year good weather. So this is very important that Egypt has Hurghada, has Sharm el-Sheikh in winter that are serving as leisure tourism, and having the north coast with all its villages all over.
We saw how the investments flowed into Egypt's northern coast in the past few years.
Yes, yeah. It is really magnificent to have this very wide shore, having a long distance of sea on your right when you're going to the west, having all those villages, all those compounds all over that are close to the sea, having new cities all over in Egypt is very important too, industrial areas and all these areas that attract investments.
Dr. Amany, again, if we look for sectors where you believe investments would be more likely to flow, and especially here, let's begin to talk about the Egyptian-Chinese cooperation. The level of partnership between the two countries has been elevated to a strategic partnership. So we have energy, we have industry, we have agriculture, we have petrochemicals, IT, education, health, tourism, many sectors, pharmaceuticals. Where do you think is the area where investments would be really attractive for Chinese?
Egypt has great potential for green industry. So this is very important that investors are going to seek our country for having energy and investments in all the African continent too, because we're having a lot of sun, we're having solar energy, and this is what we have to be going to as our world is polluted for a long time, so we're going for green energy and having investments in this. We're also having in Egypt the tourism industry, as you said, and this is very important. We're having a very strategic, important point between us and China, which is the Road and Belt initiative, yeah, which replaces the old Silk Road that was in China's strategy and plans. So we're having location, we're having good weather, we're having energy, we're having everything in Egypt. We're having a very good workforce, young workforce that is has the potential to be more efficient and have vocational training, and we get more efficient engineers, more efficient workers, and thus better products in low prices that could be exported.
Indeed, Engineer, I mean, I guess I should have also mentioned transportation and infrastructure in general as areas of potential cooperation between the two big economies of China and Egypt. What were the major outcomes of the Egypt Business China Forum, Engineer Amany, and where do you think this cooperation is moving?
Forums are very important so that people meet the businessmen, the industrymen, and this is very important in order to have investments, that you get the businessmen and the people working in industry in order to partner and make better business and to have profits. And also to have job opportunities. Yeah. You create the job opportunities in Egypt. You only have for the textile partnership between Egypt and China. In the last years, we created 25,000 jobs, which is very important for youthful workers who work all over the textile industry, and we have better and developed textile industry. Between Egypt and China, Egypt not only gets money from China, we also get experiences and know-how that makes the industries better, and the trade, of course, better, and prices are competing all over the world.
Yes, and speaking of the expertise, help that we get from China and the exchange of expertise, I guess there is no area better than AI to talk about here. Artificial intelligence in China is a world leader in that field. And the experts rank it, you know, head to head with the United States. I mean, there is no 1 and 2 here. It's China, US, US, China, AI. So, talk to us about the cooperation in the AI field between China.
In our modern life, it's very important to have efficient information technology and AI. So China is a big country having experiences in the AI, and we're having a lot of cooperation with the Chinese in AI. We're also having, in our country, we're having the youth studying the information technology and working with AI, and having people who are professional and having experts in the AI from the Chinese side is very important, that we exchange experiences, and this gets better in Egypt.
And you spoke earlier, Engineer Amany, about the Belt and Road Initiative, the BRI, that a huge Chinese vision, and we want to know more about it, and how can Egypt benefit from it, and how this aligns with Egypt's own vision, the 2030 vision.
The Road and Belt Initiative makes the strategy of China and Egypt get together and have better infrastructure everywhere in order to help this big initiative to begin and to continue and to be sustainable. So having the Suez Canal and reforming everything in this area, having clusters that work together in order to have development in the industrial area and in Suez Canal in particular is very important. Having the railways, having the roads developed in Egypt, and having a lot of job opportunities all over Egypt, and also helping China in order to get to Europe, to get to Africa with their products and their trade and industry.
How is the government, Engineer Amany, and how is the private sector together making potential for joint investments between Egypt and China, especially here in Egypt, making it possible, making it easier, making it more smooth?
As for the government, we're having a lot of intensives. We're having the new laws of investment are making the taxes easier in submitting and making the taxes lower. So we're having in some investments taxes are 2 to 3%, which for
especially small and medium.
For small and medium,
yeah.
yes, this is true. For small and medium enterprises. As for the forum, when businessmen get together, so the partners profit from this. Those intensives and take advantage of all those facilities. The Egyptian partners too are willing to partner with the foreign investors in general, and the Chinese investors in particular, as the forum was for Egyptian Chinese investors.
Most of the cooperation between the two countries economically and investment-wise, is it related to mega projects, infrastructure projects, I mean government to government, or is most of it concerned with SMEs?
We're having all kinds of investments. We are having the infrastructure partnership and the governmental partnership together, the Egyptian and the Chinese governments, and we're having smaller partnerships in projects in pharmaceuticals, in AI and
you mentioned
IT,
textiles
in
earlier.
textile, which is very important because the Chinese have a lot of experience in the textile, and we are a country that produces good textiles too. So we're having this partnership that makes it better in both countries.
Yes. And what about training and capacity building? How important is that element, again, in enhancing the atmosphere of investment between the two countries, training and capacity building?
Training is very important, and even sometimes it's more important than money, because you're investing in people, and we are having a huge country with youth that need jobs and need to have better efficiency and skills, yes, in their vocational life. So when they have good vocational training, and they are partnering with people with experiences, they take better experiences and have more value as workers, as engineers, as doctors, and in all areas.
And speaking, Engineer Amany, of training and capacity building, I understand that there are many success stories related to training and capacity building in the cooperation between Egypt and China here, especially related to SMEs and handicrafts, green and circular economy, and others. Can you tell us about some of these success stories?
Yes, people who worked with Chinese partners or Chinese experts in the field of solar energy, for example, had new technologies that they learned. So the engineers, workers, and people working in the project had better experiences, more efficiency, and thus their salaries might rise. People who are working in the textile industry too, when being in contact with foreigners, having different experiences and different technologies that they use in making the textiles, in garment manufacture, in many areas that are related to the textile energy, so they get better experiences. Even in management is very important in those industries.
Yes, and Engineer Amany, there must be challenges to the cooperation between, again, this world or global economic giant, China, and the African or regional economic giant, Egypt. What are these challenges and hurdles and obstacles, and how can we overcome them?
The first obstacle might appear to be the far distance from each other. So China is far from Egypt and from Africa, but all the challenges can be, we get over many challenges. Maybe some obstacles concerning the governmental issues, having license, having to start the partnership. So they get together with the forums, with the means of forums and by connections, and by negotiations everything gets closer and obstacles are removed.
Any challenges of bureaucracy now, you think, or are we getting over that?
I believe bureaucracy is decreasing, and we're getting better in helping investors to have investments in our country.
Okay, and Egypt is not only China's strategic partner, but it's also Europe's strategic partner. We have an Egyptian-EU strategic partnership. Egypt is a strategic partner for many countries in the region, in the continent, and globally. So what makes the cooperation with China and the partnership with China so special and makes for a two-way or a win-win situation in your view?
As you said, we're having partnership with European countries, especially Italy, Greece, and many other countries.
With the EU at large, yeah.
This is true. And we get training also from the European Union and from German corporates. And what makes it very special with China is that we are together in the BRIC group. So we're having strategy and strategic plan that is going in a very steady way. And I hope we achieve all our targets soon together.
We've heard so much about, trading with the local currency as far as the BRICS group is concerned. Of course, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, the original five, and Egypt, an official member of the BRICS now. But at the same time, this talk seems to be opposed by U.S. President Donald Trump. He doesn't like to hear about this at all. So where do you think is this issue of trading with local currency between the BRICS nations will go?
I think this is fair, that trading goes with the local currency. This is fair, and it's normal to have people resisting and opposing every new initiative. So I believe that with persistence and with the good plan that the BRICS countries are moving through, this is going to happen, even with the resistance of
the United
some
States.
Some countries, yes.
Amany, back to the sectors again. Want to talk about where could the areas of cooperation between Egypt and China exist in each specific sector. So you talked about textile industry, you talked about infrastructure, you talked about energy. We have here industry, agriculture, again petrochemicals, transportation. We also may have health, education, and others. Can you pinpoint for us again, some areas of great, in your view, as an economic and development expert, great potential for further cooperation?
All the industrial areas are, China is having a good rank in industry and in technology. So
it's usually either one or two.
Yes. Yes.
In every area, it's either number one or number two.
Electric vehicles, for example. I believe that we have to stop using the fuel and that is polluting our Mother Earth since many decades. We already polluted every single cubic meter of the atmosphere. So we have to start using electricity, electric cars instead of the cars we're using. We have to start modifying our life to a green one. I believe that we can cooperate in many atmosphere refining.
So you're going back to green energy again.
Yes.
But allow me, to say, and because whenever we talk about green energy and fighting global warming and climate change, the resistance again of the current U.S. administration must be brought to the forefront. But listening to California Governor Mr. Gavin Newsom speaking recently, and after attending COP30 in Brazil, he said what is happening now is temporary. These are his words. He said, entre parenthèses, Trump is temporary. So he's saying that the United States will be back again playing a leading role in combating global warming and in green energy and so on. But from here to there, I mean, we still have 3 years. And Egypt has had a very good ride in this field. And we hosted COP27, for instance, here in Sharm el-Sheikh 3 years back. So, again, what do you think will happen in the next 3 years, though? I mean, because the reason I'm asking you this, because I'm seeing you go back to green energy more than once when we talk about the potential of cooperation between Egypt and China. The second point is, China is also, like the United States, one of the biggest polluters.
Yes.
So, the ball is yours now.
We have to use energy within the right constraints. Since the Industrial Revolution, we polluted a lot of places in our continent, and this is the place where we live, where our sons, our grandsons and daughters are going to live. So if we go back and we say, are we going to have an industrial revolution or not? Of course we are going to have an industrial revolution. We are going to use aeroplanes, cars, but now we have the means to clean this, to use clean energy. So at least we have to go to the initiatives that take us to a clean continent after all those years of polluting our continent, our Mother Earth.
Indeed. We have the means, as you said, but the question is, do we have the will? So, because sometimes, the will is absent, but it's definitely a cause worth fighting for those who really believe that we are hurting our own planet and future generations if we continue to emit CO2 the way we are now. So as we wrap up, Engineer Amany, again, what is the best way that you can portray for us how Egyptian-Chinese cooperation could be a win-win situation?
The diplomacy in both countries is taking a good role in all this partnership, the exchanging the experiences and having goodwill, having the same strategy will make it a win-win situation.
And the cultural exchange. I see many Chinese learning Arabic, and this is a huge, a huge nation. I mean, over 1 billion people for sure. And I see also many Egyptians now starting to learn Chinese, which is expanding as a global language. So how do you see this area finally, the cultural
historically, Egypt and China are having very old civilizations.
Of course.
So, of course, we meet in cultural points and cultural exchange between each other, and we can understand how the ancient civilizations can meet and can have partnership together in order to have a good future.
All right. On that beautiful note, we thank you, dear viewers, for watching us, and on behalf of you, we thank very much our dear guest with us here, Engineer Amany Shenawy, chemical engineer, economic and development expert, and a member of a leading NGO here in Egypt. Always a pleasure to have you with us, Engineer Amany. And thank you, dear viewers, for watching Business Insider. Please stay with Nile TV.